I gave Randy Orton all of the WWE titles and it simulated an entire year in universe mode to see what would happen. And here's what happened. We start off at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view where Randy Orton has to defend the WWE Championship against Dominic Mysterio. Huh. Wow. That's interesting. Anyways, he's able to finish off Dominic with an RKO and retain the WWE Championship. Pretty easily. Later in the night, we had the Money in the Bank ladder match, and a referee was in the ring. I don't know why, but then I realized, oh my god, this match has pinfalls. Yes, in a Money in the Bank ladder match, there's freaking pinfalls. And at the end of the day, Drew McIntyre won the Money in the Bank briefcase by freaking pinfall. And then he teleported on top of the Money in the Bank ladder. So, yeah, that's weird. After that weirdness, we go back to some normality as we head to In Your House, where Randy Orton defends the NXT Championship against Tommaso Ciampa and Walter. Regardless, Randy Orton hits not one, not two, but three RKOs to put down Walter and retain the NXT Championship. We move on to WrestleMania Backlash, and Randy Orton defends the WWE Championship against Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar is able to finish him off with an F5 just basically out of nowhere, and Brock Lesnar wins the WWE Championship. However, this night is not over, because right immediately afterwards, Drew McIntyre cashes in the Money in the Bank, and Randy Orton has to defend the Universal Championship against him. However, he fails to defend it, and Drew McIntyre wins the Universal Championship from Randy Orton. Randy Orton lost both of his world titles in one night. That's a rough night for him. We move on to WWE Extreme Rules, and Randy Orton is not booked. Nope, he's not booked. I guess the losing 2 world titles in one night is taking a toll on his mental health. Will he come back stronger or weaker? I guess we'll find out next. We go into SummerSlam, and Randy Orton is getting his rematch for the Universal title against Drew McIntyre. And Randy Orton is able to finish off Drew McIntyre with an RKO to reclaim the Universal Championship. It's TakeOver 30, and Randy Orton will be defending the North American Championship against Pete Dunn, or Butch, or whatever you want to call him. Anyways, he finishes off Pete Dunne with a top rope RKO. Pretty sick ending. Randy Orton retains, and everything's good. For now. We move on to Payback, where Drew McIntyre is looking to win the rubber match and get back the Universal Championship, although it's inside of a steel cage. And it was a terrible idea because it was the most dreadfully boring match I've ever seen in my life. Okay, for 10 minutes straight, Randy Orton just punched Drew McIntyre while he was on top of the cell. And then he did it again. And then McIntyre tried to get out. And then Randy punched him. And then McIntyre tried to get out. It was for 10 minutes long this was going on. And then it reversed. For about 5 more minutes, Randy Orton was the one that was getting punched off and on and on and off. Finally, it ended after Randy Orton kicked Drew McIntyre off of the cell, or the cage. And Randy Orton won back the WWE Universal Championship. We move on to the WWE Championship match, a rematch for Randy Orton as he gets his rematch against current champion Rey Mysterio in a last man standing match. And the match ends when Randy Orton throws Rey Mysterio into the apron and Rey Mysterio is completely out. He's done. Yes, Randy Orton wins back the WWE Championship due to throwing him in the apron. I wish I could make this up, but I'm not. Anyways, the title's also missing too. Like, the WWE Championship, front plate is completely missing, so that just perfectly fits this match. TakeOver 31. Randy Orton defends the NXT Championship against Samoa Joe. And Randy Orton retains after just stomping him in the face. Yep, he just kicked him right in the face, pinned him, and retained the NXT Championship. I swear, this run has the worst endings possible. Rey Mysterio gets his rematch for the championship after an embarrassing defeat to an Irish whip, as Randy Orton will defend it inside of the Hell in a Cell, and Randy Orton is able to overcome the odds, hit an RKO on Rey Mysterio, and retain the WWE Championship inside Hell in a Cell. Survivor Series. Randy Orton is forced to defend the United States Championship, because he hasn't yet, against Jeff Hardy, and is able to finish off Jeff Hardy with an RKO, and Randy Orton retains the United States Championship. Our next show is Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. Randy Orton will defend his championship in a ladder match against the King of the Bloodline, Roman Reigns. And after Roman Reigns hits a superplex off of the ladder, he is able to easily climb up the ladder and get the championship. A stretcher comes out for Randy Orton because he's probably crippled, and Reigns ends the show once again as champion. We arrive at the Royal Rumble, and before we get to the main event, we actually have to do the Rumble match itself. And the match started out with, I believe, Elias doing a concert. So that was pretty cool of Elias. But anyways, we get to the end, and Big E is able to win the Royal Rumble by eliminating Buddy Murphy. And Big E is now going to WrestleMania. Now it's time for the main event. Miraculously, Randy Orton is able to return at the Rumble and get his rematch against Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns retains the Universal Championship after hitting a Superman punch. After the match, it looks like Reigns and Orton are making up, only for Orton to hit him with an RKO and leave with his pride intact. Vengeance Day. It is Randy Orton defending the North American Championship against Santos Escobar. And Randy Orton retains the championship after stomping him on the head. It was a finish so bad that even Santos Escobar left in shame. We head into the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and Randy Orton is forced to defend the Intercontinental Championship against Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Ricochet, and King Nakamura. And surprisingly, Randy Orton is able to outlast all the other men and retain the Intercontinental Championship inside the Elimination Chamber. We move on to Fastlane, where Randy Orton has to defend the United States Championship against MVP. Randy Orton is able to hit a top rope RKO, but he wasn't able to finish him off. However, MVP, with not one, not two, but 3 overdrives, wins the United States Championship and shocking the world by pulling off a massive upset. To make things worse for Randy Orton, Big E, the Royal Rumble winner, comes out and hits a big ending on Randy Orton to close the show, and Randy Orton is just left, defeated. The final NXT pay-per-view of the year, Stand and Deliver. Randy Orton is going to have to defend the NXT Championship against Timothy Thatcher, who didn't win last time, he got beat up. But surprisingly, Timothy Thatcher actually wins the NXT Championship off of an elbow drop, no less, and is now the NXT Champion and gets his revenge from the last run. Once again, Big E comes out after Randy Orton loses the championship and tries to get one up on Randy Orton. However, Randy Orton is able to get up and hit an RKO to clap back at Big E, and the stage is set for their showdown. It's Randy Orton versus Big E for the WWE Championship. It's time for WrestleMania. Randy Orton defends the WWE Championship against Big E, the Royal Rumble winner. And after Randy Orton hits a top rope RKO, Big E gets his hands on the ropes. The referee doesn't see it and counts the 3. Randy Orton retains the WWE Championship in the main event of WrestleMania in the most screwy way possible. And there are no rematches anymore because the run's over. So at the end of the day, this was probably the weirdest run I've seen. There were so many weird shenanigans and weird moments that it made it really interesting. But at the same time, it kind of made it frustrating too, in parts. So yeah, that was the Randy Orton all-title belt run. So I'll see you next time. Bye.